And yes, people are often surprised, but counselors and advisors are faculty here at College of DuPage, and we're all part of CODAA. All right, so I want to start by introducing the officers. You already know me. And before I get on to Bonniejean, I want to introduce to all who don't know him yet, Jim Marseille. He's our outgoing Vice President of Policy. He's been with us like 3 years and been invaluable to me and to CODAA. So we're really going to miss him. So if we wouldn't mind having a round of applause. Luckily, we've got Bonniejean stepping up in his place. So Bonniejean Elford is going to be VP of Policy for the upcoming year, so we have things covered here. Then we also have Vicki Regueda, who is our membership chair. Going back over here, Joe Trahey, our treasurer. We've got Sue Dreghorn, our secretary, and Stella Spazula, who is our representative to the IEA, and Bill Enright, who's our legislative chair and elections chair. In the back, we have Mike Dusick and Rob Robson. They checked you in. So a lot of you know Mike, former president of CODAA, and Rob is our assistant membership chair. So I think, and then we've got Peter Chen here, our webmaster. So if any of you two, we'll talk about this in a minute though, but we'd love to have some of you join our ranks here. So if any of you would like to get involved in a CODAA leadership position, I will talk a little more about this shortly, but we have these blue forms in the back, and they're about any type of involvement you might want to do. From as little as helping out maybe 1 hour a semester when we have a mailing to get out or something, to serving on a committee which is compensated, or running for an office. But again, I will talk about this in a minute. Bonniejean, I think you wanted to do a drawing.
I do.
We do have some prizes and drawings today.
Yes, we have some prizes and drawings. We're going to do 2 right now, just because we can. We have, Jim, would you model off our bags? We have these beautiful grab bags of items. Now the way this works is we have 11 smaller prizes, 10 or 11, 10 for sure.
We got some more names here.
Oh, get it up here quick.
Come here.
So we have 10 or 11 smaller prizes, and they get bigger as we go through the day. And at the end, we have a big grand prize of an iPad. But everyone's name goes back in, so everyone gets a chance to win the iPad.
Right, and you do not have to be present. I know some of you cannot stay the whole meeting, so we will get in touch with you if you win.
And it's okay if somebody comes in and asks their name later, that'll be fine. So we're gonna have Cheryl draw the first one for a grab bag item. Goes to
Lauren. Lauren H. L-O-R-E-N. Yeah. Okay.
Yay!
All right, Jim has it. Okay, thank you.
Now we draw one more.
And we also have, this one's a little hard to read. Morganza?
Is this yours? Oh, read the number. Okay, 2014885. We're doing sums throughout. Their phone number is 321-8842-841. So the prize is right there. Okay, so as we shift between, we will do more. These will be added back in at the very end, but not before, because the smaller prizes, 1 per person, that's it. And so I turn it back to you.
Okay.
And at the next transition, we'll have 2 more prizes.
Jim, would you mind picking up these forms and then passing them down? Anybody want one? They're in the bag. Oh, you've got them. Sorry. Okay.
Trying to get to everybody.
Oh, okay, great. So maybe some people have got it. All right, so like I said, we'd love to get more people involved in CODAA and the IEA. There's a lot of opportunities for leadership and just helping out from time to time if that works for you. For one, like I said, you can run for office. We hold elections officers every year, and we're always more than willing to have new people come in. In fact, we're begging you to have new people come in. I really don't want to be president forever, so we want to have people get involved and move up. Of course, a position like president, we hope you're in the ranks for a while, and maybe a less involved position before you move into that. But we definitely would like people to run for office. We also have a new thing we've come up with, to be a volunteer for a CODAA representative in your division. And what that would mean is that you would kind of just get back to us on anything that's new or happening in your division, anything exciting, anything concerns, and in turn you would share with people you know, colleagues of yours, information that we have for you from CODAA. So I think it's a way to kind of get the word out to new people. You know, we always have new people coming into the unit every year, and they don't necessarily know much about us at all. So by being a division representative, that would help us with that. And all of these things, if you fill out the form, we'll get back to you with additional information, see what you think you might be best suited for. The other thing is we have CODAA as part of our contract, part of our negotiations with the college. We have representation on most college-wide committees. So we have representatives on the Pathways Steering Committee. Of course, Pathways is a really big thing right now. We have representatives on the Facilities Master Plan, Shared Governance Council. Bonniejean is one of our reps on Shared Governance Council, but we get two on Shared Governance. One is always a CODAA officer, but the other is a member. So anyone can serve on Shared Governance if they'd like. Bonniejean, you want to tell them just for a minute about Shared Governance?
Yeah, shared governance is a central governance space where all the constituents in different stakeholder divisions of campus come together to discuss issues, to offer recommendations to administration, who ultimately make decisions and then ask the board for approval. So we get items from you, our members, or from other constituency groups, and we talk about it. We develop ideas, we vote on it. We actually have helped make some really good things happen over the years. For instance, this last year, there were some issues with the drop for non-payment, and now there's a new policy in place that after the withdrawal deadline, no one can be dropped for non-payment. Other methods for getting money from students are put in place, so you no longer have those problems. That came directly through shared governance. And Phil is on the committee as well, sits on that as well with me. And this semester, I'm the chair for the committee, so we are going to have an active role in governance at the college to really put adjuncts on the map this year, so yay.
And other committees we have is the academic committee, which is a board of trustees committee. I'm one of the representatives on that. We discuss issues that affect, academic issues around the college. That only meets a couple of times a semester, but we're at the table with the full-time faculty, with the cabinet. Carol, I saw you here a second ago. Okay. Carol here, Carlson Nussinger, is the other representative on that committee. She's not a CODAA officer, but she's been active. She was part of our bargaining team. So this is just a handful of the committees for which we have representation, and most of these, you get the negotiated rate of $30 per hour for serving on the committee. So it doesn't cover outside work you might do for the committee, but for the meeting times, you're compensated at that rate. So if any of you think you would like to be involved helping us out on these committees, be sure to check that box on the form and let us know. Right now, we know we have an opening on the Higher Learning Commission committee, which will probably be starting up in fall again. That's the group that's kind of making sure that all the recommendations of the Higher Learning Commission are being adhered to and put into place. And then we have other, committees that we will have openings on, some coming, some not. And we have people who may be continuing or may be looking to get off. So usually it's a year commitment. The committees can meet as frequently as twice a month. So that's kind of rare, and as infrequently as just like twice a semester. So there's really a wide range of opportunities if you'd like to be involved just a small amount or a larger amount. We also have coming up the IEA, NEA, you know, that's our parent organization. The Illinois Educators Association is under the National Educators Association. And the one conference is coming up in October 12th and 13th. It's at the Doubletree Hotel in Oak Brook. It's a Friday night and Saturday. CODAA will cover your registration fee if you'd like to go. If you're interested, just check that also, and I will get back in touch with you. I can give you the link where you can see the agenda. There's a lot of different opportunities, from some sort of professional development opportunities, and a lot centered about learning more about the IEA as relates to higher education. This is the conference for higher education, basically. So that's coming up, and like I said, we would cover your fee if you want to attend. So just let me know about that, and even if you can only go like Friday evening and not Saturday, that's okay. And then the final thing on this form is we occasionally need people to help us just on an on-needed basis, like when we hold elections, and we have to have a non-officer helping out with counting ballots. When we do mailings, sometimes we're mailing to over 700 members now, believe it or not. And so sometimes we need help with that. So if you want to help out just maybe once a semester to help support us, that would be great. So anyway, again, if you're interested, blue forms have been passed around. Make sure they get back to the main table there, or to Karen, right? Susan, sorry, or to Susan, and then we will get back in touch with you. Any questions about those opportunities? Oh, okay. We already talked about the shared governance. I did want to mention about the academic integrity reporting form. Are any of you familiar with this? This came out of a working group that included full-time faculty and the head of the testing center. This was not one we had input on, but basically they developed a new form that supposedly makes it very easy for you to report if you need to report any academic dishonesty in your class. So you just click on the link, which is up there, and fill it out. It supposedly also can be accessed from inside your Blackboard, so you can do it there too. But they're really wanting us to encourage people to use this form and report any instance of academic dishonesty that you might not have wanted to just deal with on your own in the class. Okay? So there's that information. I'm pretty sure everybody got emailed that too. I mean, I remember seeing the email. Another thing is Amy Chambers, who is our community relations coordinator at the college. She is putting together a database of any kind of outreach that any COD employee does. They just want to know this so that they can, kind of refer people if they're looking for a certain community organization. It's basically just to have a cross-campus database being developed. So if any of you do any kind of community outreach, please let her know. Her email is on there, Amy Chambers, Community Relations Coordinator. If you don't have a pen, you'll write it down now. We're going to be posting all of this on our webpage, by the way, or you can always email us through the CODAA website, and I can give you that information. But their goal is to have this accessible to all employees and students. So if they're looking for a community service project or to be more involved, that they would know where to go to. So we're asking people, if you're involved in that, to let Amy know. Okay. So other update, and just kind of a reminder, I'm sure you've probably stopped in the adjunct faculty office in the BIC and you've noted the construction. I saw Kirk Overstreet last night, and he said that the furniture is a little bit behind in being ordered, but they expect it in the next couple weeks. And the monitors for the breakout rooms. We're going to have 4 more private consultation rooms, and they are going to have a wall wall-mounted monitor and a computer also mounted on the wall, and only the keyboard will be on the desktop. So the table you have in there will have plenty of room to sit with a student, talk to students, go over things. And so I wanted to give you an update on that. So there's definitely going to be more additional private consultation rooms. The partition cubicles will remain, which I know is a big thing to a lot of you. The cubicles that are already in that office, they were originally going to take them out. And you know, I think a lot of you may remember we did a survey of what you wanted and didn't want in the room, and they actually listened to us on a lot of it. And so we were successful in getting some of these things done. The timeline for completion is September, and basically all the construction will be done by then, is what I've been told. The furniture is just lagging a little bit. But as you know, you can still use most of the room. This is just the extra area that they're building out. Kirk Overstreet is going to join us briefly around 3 o'clock, and he'll tell you a little bit more about that, as well as the search for the new assistant adjunct support team. Okay, so I'll let him address that, but I just kind of wanted to mention that. Okay, one big thing I want to make sure everybody's aware of that's covered in our contract is the fall semester course assignment. Because we bargained a new contract last year, and this is the first semester this part of the contract went into effect, we want to remind you that basically for the fall and spring semesters, that if you teach classes that are less than 3 contact hours, any CODAA member is supposed to be offered a minimum of 4 hours prior to giving those classes to a non-CODAA member. Now, let me go through them all, and then I'll kind of talk a little more in detail about it. If you teach in a 6 contact hour, if you teach in a 3 contact hour discipline, like English and speech and psychology, then you are supposed to get up to 6 contact hours per term if you ask for them before assigning to a non-CODA member. And if you teach in the sciences and math, which are often more than 3 credit hours, then their obligation is to only assign 1 class if it's greater than 3 contact hours. But this is the first time that they have to do this rather than make a best effort to do it. You know, the contract always was they will make an effort to assign before they assign to non-CODA. Now they must. So if any of you feel like this has not been adhered to, be sure to let us know. But before I go on to the next slide about that, I must remind you it is partly related to your availability you gave. Okay, so if you gave very minimal availability, then they don't necessarily have, like if you said you could only work Tuesdays and Thursdays between 10 and 1, they don't necessarily have to give you 2 classes. But based on availability and based on the fact that you turned in your availability form by the deadline. You know, that's a new thing now, that you have to do this online availability form and that it must be submitted by the deadline. This was a college mandated thing, just to be clear. This was not a CODA thing, but CODA did file a grievance to have the form be improved, which we did get. We were able to add a text field so you could specify, like, I prefer to work at Addison, or I prefer evening classes, whatever. So we won that part of our grievance over that, but the form was not our idea. But having said that, I think now that it has the flexibility of the text field, it's actually making it fairer, because now everyone has to submit at the same time. The departments are under some pressure to give assignments earlier, whereas some of your departments assigned early, others waited to the last minute. So now it's kind of broadly fairer to all CODA members. So anyway, let me just talk, and I know there's going to be some questions, and I'll take those in a moment. But it's important, if you believe that that you have not been assigned according to the contract, then contact us immediately. Provide the courses that you're fully qualified to teach and the availability you provided on the form. So you can email, if you know one of us personally, you want to email us, that's fine. You can email, you can go on the CODAA website and there's a link to email us. You can catch one of the officers here and Bonniejean will happily take your information. But we do want to make sure that this is being enforced. I've been talking with our HR person and with the Assistant VP, Kirk Overstreet. They're totally on board on this. I will say our college does adhere to the contract. I mean, in most cases, they do adhere to the contract. They're not trying to weasel out of it in any way, but mistakes can be made. This is new for deans. This is something that they have been told repeatedly, but things can happen because it is relatively new. So again, we want to make sure that you are getting what is mandated in the contract. So if any of you feel that that has not happened, be sure to let us know. One other thing to keep in mind though is enrollment is down this semester. So, a lot of you may have had 3 or 4 classes in the past. You may not have now. Remember, the contract only mandates a minimum of 6 credit hours or 4 credit hours, depending on your discipline. But, from what I've seen, most departments have been assigning the CODAA members quite regularly before to non-CODAA members. But enrollment is down. The last I heard, it was down about 8 to 9%, which is not very good, but it has been getting better. And from working in counseling, I know I've been terribly busy this week, and all my colleagues, and we're open Saturday, so we still have a few days. The line outside the testing center was like 10 students deep. So I think we're going to see enrollment still creep up some, and we also have, of course, the late start classes. But because enrollment has been down, like it's been down in pretty much every college across the state, that's going to count for possibly some sections not being assigned that you might not have gotten. But okay, now that I've said that, does anybody have any questions about that? I think you said that you
Anything for the summer? Are we guaranteed anything?
Okay, this only applies to spring and fall and spring. That was your question.
On this availability form,
Yeah.
like electronic,
Right.
is there a confirmation we get anymore? Because
Yes,
sometimes
right?
I'm not sure if they got it or not, so I always send it
Right, yeah.
manually to the.
Yeah, to the
Yeah.
dean, but Jim, right, people have done it, you got it. You do, yeah. So you should, if you don't, I would say definitely contact the office right away then, because there were some glitches. I'm sure there's a couple of you here may have been aware of. There were a few people who got the date extended to submit because they could see a record that they tried to submit, but it did not go through. But yeah, I would say be very careful about that, yes.
Getting those hours isn't tied to evaluations or anything of the sort, is it?
No, no. I mean, if there was something, that your dean had an issue with, then, that could be some other thing, but no, it is not tied to evaluation.
You could also check My Access will show availability form and what you submitted or not submitted.
Okay.
So go there as well to see if they received it and what you actually sent them.
Yeah, so
Check
you
My
know what
Access.
link that's under?
It's in your My Access. So if
Yeah.
you go under the faculty employee menu, I forgot which menu, but you'll see it's a
Okay.
link. It's a pretty obvious link.
Yeah, since I'm a counselor, I don't get this form. I had to ask them to send me what it looks like, but we do things differently in our department, so, yes.
The division canceled the class, do they have any?
Okay, so what the deal is regarding a class canceled, if a class is canceled due to low enrollment, they're just like low enrollment and not given to a full-time faculty member, then there's nothing in the contract. However, if your class was given to a full-time faculty member to make load, then the department is obligated to try to find you another section that's available. Now, if they've all been assigned, then there's really nothing they can do, right? But if there are any open sections, or like if you're willing to teach a late start, you should definitely let your dean or program coordinator know that. But yes, if it was taken from you to go with a full-time faculty member, then they are supposed to make a good faith effort to find you another available section. Yes, I'll get that.
Is there an official policy regarding the number of classes you can teach in a row?
In a row?
Yeah. 'Cause I had a 9 o'clock and a 10 o'clock, and there was an 8 o'clock open, and I was under 4, and I asked if I could take the 8 o'clock, and I was told, no, you're not allowed to teach 3 classes.
No, I've never heard that. What do you teach?
Philosophy.
Philosophy.
I didn't know if that was just our department.
I mean, was it in a different building or
No,
something?
it
Or
was-
did you think,
they were
okay.
all-
That's not a policy.
No,
Oh.
I've definitely known adjuncts who have had that.
Well, I have in the past, I've had 3 of them.
Who's your dean?
Sandra Martin.
Oh,
Huh.
I wasn't told that by the dean, I was told that by our,
program coordinator?
yeah.
I will bring that up to Sandra, because I am meeting with her tomorrow, so I won't tell her names or anything, but I
Right.
will.
Well, and it's happened to other faculty too. It's
Okay.
like, oh, you're not allowed to.
No,
teach
I mean, I've never heard that. I mean, why would it be any different than teaching to be scattered? I mean, that doesn't make any sense, yeah. Okay, so you'll.
I will
make
follow up
note
with
of
Sandra on that.
And can you give Bonniejean your name?
Yeah. And then I'll follow, and I won't share your
Yes.
name, I'll just.
Do you have any knowledge about canceled classes due to low enrollment? For example, we might have an assignment now that there's only 9 students signed up. When would they cancel it? And
Well, that is up to each department, though they tend to always cancel it at least 3 days before the start of the class because they don't like to pay the mandated $300 you would get if they cancel it 2 days before the start of the class. So they typically will do it 3 days, but a lot of deans, and I think it's a good thing, will try to let it go up to the last minute, up to that kind of 3 days before, because, they're aware that there's a lot of last minute registration.
I have a question that goes with that.
I'm just gonna clarify, you're up to 9, hang in there. I think they let it, my department anyway, they've been letting it go at 10.
Okay. Yeah, and that is also up to the department, but a lot of departments will let them go without.
What was the question up here? I didn't hear it. We didn't hear it.
About back-to-back classes, if you can't have more than 3 back-to-back classes.
Yeah, they were told they couldn't do like an 8, a 9, and a 10, so they said no.
What
Yes.
you were saying about the 3 days before canceling, if they do it 2 days before, they have to pay you the 300, does that apply for summer as well?
No.
No, it's only for
Okay, so
pretty
they-
much everything in our contract only applies to the
Okay.
academic year. Summer is considered like extra for.
So they could cancel the day before.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to point out that the discipline field in that availability form is apparently hard-coded by HR. And my discipline code was physics, but ever since I've been here, I've been assigned math classes.
Really?
And so therefore, this semester, I almost didn't get an assignment because I ended up on the wrong list.
Okay.
So I pointed this out to my dean. And
Okay.
he scrambled immediately and got me the assignment, so it didn't turn into an issue.
Yeah,
But
Tom.
if
Tom's
that
good.
discipline code isn't what you think
Okay.
it should be, you should maybe point it out to your dean so that you.
Right, now, did Tom indicate he could get that fixed, or?
Well, I don't know about that.
Okay.
Laurel just told me that it was hard coded, I couldn't edit it because it was put in by
Okay.
HR. But I did not appear on the math run, so I almost didn't get any assignments. At
And
all.
was this the first time that happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the first time that this form was used.
Right, there's a lot of things.
Right, okay. So you're actually down as physics, but you teach
My
math?
discipline code is physics, but
Right.
ever since I've been here, I've taught math courses.
I can second
Okay.
that same thing's happened to me.
Again, Cheryl, what I access, you check your profile, because it'll tell you where you are listed.
Right.
Because I've had that issue.
Yeah, so I would encourage any of you, if you're listed, who else said they had a problem with that?
Because the
Someone-
young lady that sat down next to him.
Okay. So yeah, I would encourage you to let your dean know so that you can get assigned, but we need to let the adjunct faculty office know. So if you wouldn't mind just writing down your name, please, so I can bring it up as general and make sure. Does anybody else have an issue like that?
Last question about this 27 credit hours per year, that's still valid, the max credit hours per year?
20, yes. Yes.
20 days, okay.
Right, that has not changed, yeah, that has not changed. Yes.
It starts from January, right? It's the, or is it from?
It's for fall.
Fall to spring.
Fall to fall, right, like, and it's summer is included in that if you do summer. Because it's based on, ever since the Affordable Care Act went into place, they keep it on the 27 or whatever. Yes,
I just want to confirm something. In the morning, they had a little, not workshop, but something with, education,
Right.
and I believe camps.
Right.
They told us that if we work there, they only use that, like, 10 hours a week.
That is correct.
Is that true? How many hours of teaching at a camp right now is called 1 credit hour?
yeah, that I couldn't answer, there is a formula for it, but I don't remember, because back in the day, counselors used to be able to teach, they don't let us do it anymore, but we used to teach the student success and career development classes, the part-time counselors, and there was a formula, I don't remember it, it's been so long now, but they'll only allow you to work if it's in the same division. So like, if you, we have like learning commons or something.
I don't know, for example, if it was file and CSI investigation or DNA.
Okay, so
Or
the thing,
ACT workshop.
the thing is, the college will not allow part-time faculty to work in more than one department. And so that's why counselors can't teach these classes anymore because they're under education. And so, right, like, so you could only do it if you were in that same department that's posted. So like, people who teach math can be math tutors in the learning commons, correct? Vicky?
No.
No, not anymore? No, okay, not even, okay. No, that's right, they were trying to do that, but not yet.
So wait, so I cannot teach ACT science math?
Probably not, but you know, I would talk to, I don't know, who would be good to talk to?
ACT is that continuing ed?
I think it's some sort of, it's like junior high and high school.
Yeah,
That's continuing, yeah, they were
They won't
talking,
let you do it yet.
though they were talking about a pilot making exceptions to that
Right.
for continuing ed, but right, I don't think it's been approved.
Yeah, not
There
yet.
was a pilot with just a very small group of people that they were trying out. I'll follow up on
But
that.
there's one more thing I remember you said in a prior meeting, that there are certain, staff, classifications that allow you to teach one class. What is that?
Oh, that's this year, no, that's the managerial.
Managerial?
Yeah, managerial people. Yeah, okay. All right. Do we have any other questions related to assignments? No, okay, great.
There's one question over there.
Oh, one question? Oh, yes, sorry.
What constitutes a good faith attempt? Because for the entire calendar year of 2018, I've not been offered a single 16-week class, and the end result of that has been that I ended up with only 1 out of 3 classes in the spring, nothing over the summer, and frankly, I'm anticipating that both of my fall classes will be canceled due to long
So you're
holidays.
doing all late start?
I'm doing a first 8 week and then a late
Oh,
start.
okay.
Yeah.
And did you used to get 16 weeks?
Yes. I mean, I think every single semester I had one,
What
at
department
least
are
a
you in?
speech. Yeah. Every single semester I've taught here, I've had at least one that was not a 16 week, but it was not until this spring semester that I had one that didn't have a single 16 week in it. It used to be I had a fairly regular schedule and then one weird one.
Right,
And
right.
this year it switched to just all weird ones.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there's nothing specifically in the contract that says what type of course to give you, but it's certainly something I would say talk to your dean about, just, because maybe, for some reason, they're looking at all the availability you give, and they're just saying, okay, he's willing to work whatever. But I would talk to the dean, let her know that you really would like to teach 16 weeks, and let us know the response, okay? Because it's not exact, like I said, it's not technically a contractual issue, but if we can see a pattern of CODA members being given classes that tend not to draw on, whereas non-CODA are getting, say, all the 16 weeks that tend to draw on, then we can certainly raise that. Okay.
And speaking to that, make sure you're using that, now that we have it, that open space, and say 16-week preferred, willing to take others, but prefer this, and that kind of thing. So,
Yeah, so definitely, do you know how to go to the CODA website and email us? Would you, or just go ahead and put your email down if you don't mind, your personal email,
and I can follow up with Sandra on
yeah,
that
you
issue
can follow
too,
with Sandra too, because he's the same.
This is the same dean.
No, wait, no, that's Chuck.
Wait,
Who's your dean?
whose
Chuck
speech?
Boone?
Isn't,
I'd have to look.
I think it's Chuck Boone, I think.
it might be Chuck, yeah.
Okay, all right, any other questions before we move on?